Or hand balancers who train every day.
Who?
Hand balancers, like handstand people, they train every single day.
That's not real training. You say, I'm going to go do a handstand? I'm going to do a handstand. Look at me training. Look at me training with my handstand. Shut up. Shut your mouth.
I would say you shut your mouth. Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about that? Huh?
Welcome back, everybody, to Just the Fit Tip.
Where we give you just the tip of fitness.
We break down myths. We give you fun facts. And just in general, we have a good time. We have a good time.
Now prepare yourself for the tip of fitness.
For our tips of fitness.
Okay, let's get into it. What do we got today, Nevin?
We are talking about how many times a week should someone train? How many times a week should someone train?
It depends on what your goals are. If you've got like a festival coming up and you want to just get shred every day.
You want to get shred?
Every day.
You want to get shred, bro?
Yeah, chest and biceps every day.
Stereosonic's back.
Yeah. It's kind of a vague question. How often should you be training for what?
Well, exactly. I think let's just make this about strength training because that's what we do here primarily, strength training. But, take this with just in general, right?
Okay.
But for strength training, if we're going to the gym, for beginners, 2 to 3 times a week is a great place to start.
Yep.
For more advanced lifters, 4 to 6 times a week.
Okay.
Anywhere in here. But again, guys, these are guidelines. This is not, going to work for everyone. And we'll explain that a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But as a guideline, 2 to 3 times a week for beginners, you're going to get good results because you don't need a huge amount of stimulus to get improvement.
Yeah.
Right? The more high level you are at something, especially at weight training, you need more stimulus. So you need to increase the amount of times that you're pushing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In saying that, the literature will tell you that the more times you train a muscle group in a week,
Yeah.
the better. Assuming
What?
you get adequate recovery. I was setting you up for the punchline.
Sorry. I was like, you looked at me with such a shocking look in your face. It's like, well, I don't know.
The more times you train a muscle group per week, the better results you'll get, assuming that you are getting enough recovery.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are not giving your muscles enough time to recover between sessions, there's no point in training chest 4 times a week if you are still sore and haven't finished the protein synthesis from the last training session.
And
right?
that would come down to a lot of things as well. Either just recovering in between sessions or just organizing your training weeks. You're not doing squats and then the next day you're doing squats.
Correct.
Like being able to separate it all and organize it all as well.
Yep.
So I would say those numbers, the 2 to 3 times a week, the 4 to 6 times a week, they're vastly different, and it depends on a lot of things. So like we said, speaking specifically about strength training, but a lot of people do strength training. Strength training athletes do strength training, but all kinds of other athletes also do strength training on top of their other training as well. So beginners might only be doing just strength training, and you can do that 2 or 3 times a week. They might be beginners to strength, but they might be doing a team sport or another sport or something else, and it might be supplementing. So 1 might be enough, 3 could be enough. It really does get a little more specific.
I think that if you want to play it safe, is you start with a low number, right? You're trying to find your minimum effective volume. Okay, so we're going to shout out to Dr. Mike Usertail here and his minimum effective volume.
Yep.
Because if you are getting good results from 2 training sessions a week,
works.
and you're recovering and you're feeling good and you're improving and you're not in a mad rush, hey, just keep writing that out until you need to make some changes.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, minimum effective volume is really important, especially for natural athletes who don't have exogenous hormones or supplementation that's going to increase your recovery. Recovery is super important. So you get away with as little as you can.
Yeah.
All right?
A good example of that, at the moment, I'm only training 4 times a week. I've got some like extra mobility sessions in there, but only 4 weight sessions a week. And I, over the last 2 weeks, only hit 3 of them because I'm trying to push heavy and I just can't. I'm not recovering.
Yeah.
And so the last 2 weeks, I had to miss 2 whole sessions. So I've only been doing 3 sessions a week and rewriting my program for next week. And I'm only doing 3 heavy sessions because my body just is not handling it very well.
Yeah.
So like, I'm just not improving anymore. It's too much. It's too damn much.
Well, it's important to note, though, that again, these are just guidelines and everyone is different. And we've actually talked about this in a past episode about overtraining.
Yeah.
But you might have, for example, I'll throw my dad out there as an example, right? He is a 76-year-old powerlifter, right? Reigning world champion for the M8s bench press, all right? He's got a world record in the bench press, all right? And he trains twice a week because if we train 3 times a week, he starts to go into overtraining. He doesn't recover enough. We can only do it for a short time, 4 weeks, 4 weeks of 3 sessions a week. because he trains upper body, he's doing bench only, right? So any more than like 3 sessions, it will start to wear him down. So we did 2 a week for the majority of the year, and only 3 to 4 weeks before comp, we bump it up to 3 to really get him primed and ready to go.
And he is a world champ.
World champ.
Yeah.
Also train Megan Clark, who is under 82.5 kilo, Australia's strongest woman, multiple federations, 7th strongest woman in the world. She's going to be competing at the open weight, Australia's strongest in the world. She's podiumed at international invitational shows in strongwoman. Incredible athlete. She'll train between 4 and 6 times a week. Mm-hmm. So, and again, for like 2+ hours a pop.
Yeah.
Dad trains twice a week for 45 minutes, right? So granted, he does warm-ups beforehand. So it is really important to know that the number of times you're training is specific to your goal, and some things that you need to keep in mind are you making improvements, and are you recovering? Yeah. If you're recovering, if you're making improvements and you're recovering, feel free to try to make even more improvements by training a little bit more.
Yeah.
But if you're making improvements and you're only just recovering, like you're starting to feel like, hey, I don't know if I can handle that much more, then don't.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with me. I started off 4 sessions a week. The first 2-3 weeks felt fantastic, getting these really, really good improvements. And then all in 1 week, I felt like my whole body weighed about 20 kilos more. And then my sessions I started missing reps. Just happened like that. Too much.
It's outrageous.
Not recovering enough. Yeah.
Outrageous.
It's the way that it is. It's the way the cookie crumbles.
That's just the way it is.
And again, it depends on the extra stuff you do outside as well. For example, like Megan is Australia's strongest woman. She does strength training. If you're a rugby player and you're playing rugby games and you're having large men run into you like a soft car, and then you're doing heavy squats and you're like, that's going to take its toll after a while.
It's a great example. Like if you are a professional rugby player and you're training on the field, I don't know, 3-4 times a week, different conditioning and skill sessions, maybe a contact session here or there, and you're playing on the Saturday. Well, in season, you might only want to get to the gym 2 times a week, and it's more of a maintenance program. One of our good friends, Lewis Dalamo, who has been on the Strength Institute podcast twice now, a professional strength and conditioning coach over in Japan at the moment, he will tell you that the rugby players are at their strongest in the off-season when they can train 4 to 6 times a week in the gym, get massive, right? Because during the season, they're just on maintenance mode, trying not to get injured and trying to play the best rugby that they can.
Exactly.
Right? So it is specific to what you are doing. Take a deep look inside, analyze, refine, get out there and get after it.
See you guys next time on another episode of Just the Tip.
Kind of motivated myself just now.
Yeah, I know. If I didn't just do a training session,
Good.
I would train.
Got goosebumps. I'll see you all next week on Just the Fit Tip.
Just the Fit Tip.
The
See you then, guys.
Of fitness. Just the tip of fitness.